You will not believe what just happened inside Buckingham Palace. In a move that has left the entire United Kingdom and the world completely stunned, King Charles has taken a decision so unexpected, so unprecedented, that royal insiders are calling it the most dramatic constitutional twist in decades. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, has been granted the title of Royal Regent. Yes, you heard that correctly. The woman long regarded as the hardest working, most no-nonsense member of the royal family has just been elevated to a position of extraordinary power. And the nation is reeling. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because what we are about to unpack today is the kind of story that only comes around once in a generation. This is not gossip. This is not speculation. According to multiple palace sources speaking on condition of anonymity, King Charles has formally moved to grant his sister, Princess Anne, the authority and title of Royal Regent. And the timing? The manner? The complete lack of warning? Absolute theater. Let us start at the beginning, because the road to this bombshell has been paved with quiet decisions, private conversations, and a growing sense that the monarchy is preparing for something bigger than any of us realized. For months, questions have swirled around the health of King Charles. The public has seen the carefully managed appearances, the shorter engagements, the moments when the king looked tired, thoughtful, almost burdened. Behind the palace walls, those closest to him have been having far more serious conversations. Succession is never a comfortable topic in the House of Windsor, but it has become impossible to ignore. Prince William remains the heir. That has not changed. But a regency is different. A regency is about the present, about who stands ready if the monarch cannot fully discharge the duties of the crown for any reason: illness, recovery, temporary incapacity, or simply the need for a trusted pair of hands to steady the ship while the next generation prepares. And in that conversation, one name kept rising above all others: Anne. Princess, and has never been the flashy one. She does not court the cameras the way some members of the family once did. She does not give long interviews about her feelings. She simply works. Decade after decade, engagement after engagement, she has been the royal who shows up, gets the job done, and leaves without drama. Over 500 official engagements in a single year is not unusual for her. She is the one the military respects, the one the countryside trusts, the one who has never been afraid to speak her mind, even to her own family. Insiders say that is exactly why Charles turned to her. The decision, according to those familiar with the private discussions, was not made lightly. It followed weeks of careful legal and constitutional advice. The Regency Act exists for a reason, and any formal granting of regency powers requires precision. Yet what has stunned observers is not merely that a regency framework is being activated or prepared. It is that Charles has chosen to bestow upon it a formal title and public recognition of that role now, while he is still very much on the throne. This is not a quiet contingency plan locked in a drawer. This is a public statement. Palace sources describe a private audience that took place earlier this week. No cameras. No press release drafted in advance. Just the king and his sister. What was said in that room remained private, but the outcome did not. Shortly afterwards, the formal process began. The title Royal Regent, or more precisely, the recognition of him as a designated Royal Regent with corresponding authority, was set in motion. When the news began to leak late yesterday evening, the reaction inside royal circles was immediate and electric. Senior aides were reportedly caught off guard by the speed. Some members of the wider family learned of the development only hours before the first report surfaced. The surprise was genuine. And then the public found out. Social media exploded. Royal watchers who have followed his career for decades expressed a mixture of delight and disbelief. Finally, one longtime commentator wrote, "The one who has earned it." Others were more cautious, asking what this meant for the line of succession, for Prince William, for the future shape of the monarchy itself. The constitutional experts were quick to weigh in. A regency does not displace the heir. It does not rewrite the succession. What it does is place day-to-day or emergency authority in trusted hands. In historical terms, regents have stepped in during periods of illness, minority, or absence. What makes this moment different is the openness with which Charles appears to be preparing the ground, and the clear signal that he trusts and above almost anyone else to hold that responsibility. Think about what that says. Charles and Anne have always shared a particular bond. Born only 18 months apart, they grew up in the intense public spotlight of the 1950s and 60s. They watched their mother navigate the early years of her reign. They understood the weight of duty in a way later generations experienced differently. Anne's famous no-nonsense attitude, the refusal to soften her opinions, the insistence on practical service over celebrity, has long been seen as both a strength and, at times, a source of friction with more image-conscious elements of the institution. Yet it is precisely that steel that appears to have recommended her for this role. Sources close to the king describe him as determined to ensure continuity and stability. He is said to have grown increasingly focused on the long-term health of the monarchy rather than short-term optics. In that context, elevating and is both a personal vote of confidence and a strategic move. She carries the authority of experience. She commands respect across political lines. She has the institutional knowledge that cannot be taught in a few years of preparation. The announcement, or rather the carefully controlled confirmation, has also forced a broader conversation about the role of women in the modern monarchy, and has never been in the direct line in the way her brothers were. As a woman born in an earlier era of succession rules, she watched the system prioritize male heirs. Yet here she is, decades later, being entrusted with one of the most significant temporary authorities a crown can bestow. The symbolism has not been lost on anyone. Public reaction has been swift and largely positive. Outside Buckingham Palace and in towns across the country, people have been stopping to discuss the news. Many express relief that a steady, experienced figure is being positioned so clearly. Others admit surprise that the king would make such a bold and public gesture while still actively carrying out his duties. A few voices have raised questions about timing, and about whether this signals deeper concerns about the king's health than the palace has previously acknowledged. The palace, for its part, has been characteristically measured. There has been no lengthy statement, no dramatic press conference, just quiet confirmation through official channels that the necessary steps are being taken, and that princess has accepted the responsibilities that come with the designation. Those who know and best say her acceptance was never in doubt. Duty has always been her language. When the call came, she answered the way she has answered every call for more than 50 years, with quiet resolve and zero fuss. But make no mistake, this is a seismic moment. In one decisive act, King Charles has rewritten the immediate power structure around the throne. He has placed his sister in a position of extraordinary trust. He has signaled to the nation that the monarchy is thinking several steps ahead. And he has left an entire country, from dedicated royalists to casual observers, completely stunned. The questions now are only beginning. What exact powers will the Royal Regent exercise, and under what circumstances? How will this arrangement interact with Prince William's preparation for kingship? Will Anne's elevated status change the public face of the working royal family in the months and years ahead? And perhaps most intriguingly, was this purely a contingency measure, or does it reflect a deeper shift in how Charles intends to shape the final chapter of his own reign? Royal historians are already comparing the moment to previous periods of constitutional tension and careful preparation. But none of those earlier episodes quite match the personal nature of this decision. This is not a distant relative or political appointee. This is the king's own sister, the Princess Royal, the woman who has stood beside the institution through every storm of the past half-century. As the news continues to settle across the nation, one thing is already clear. The House of Windsor has just reminded everyone that it still knows how to surprise. And Princess Anne, the royal who never sought the spotlight, now stands at the center of it. When the first reports of Princess Anne's elevation began circulating, one question rose louder than all the others. What exactly does this mean in practical terms? A royal regent is not a ceremonial honor. Under the framework of the Regency Acts, the role carries real authority. In the event that the monarch is temporarily unable to perform the functions of the crown, whether through illness, medical treatment, or any other incapacity, the regent steps in to exercise the royal prerogative on the monarch's behalf. That includes the formal approval of legislation, the appointment of ministers in certain circumstances, the granting of honors, and the representation of the sovereign in constitutional matters. By publicly designating it now, King Charles has removed ambiguity. There is no longer a scramble behind closed doors if a crisis arrives. The line of temporary authority is clear, tested, and already accepted by the person who would hold it. Constitutional experts have been careful in their analysis. This does not alter the line of succession. Prince William remains the heir apparent. The Prince of Wales continues his preparation for the throne exactly as before. What has changed is the immediate support structure around the king. In the words of one senior legal observer, Charles has installed a highly capable understudy who already knows every line of the script. That understudy has spent a lifetime learning those lines. Anne's relationship with the machinery of state is unusually deep. She has served as Councillor of State for decades. She has represented the monarch on countless overseas tours. She understands the military chain of command, the workings of the Church of England in its relationship to the Crown, and the quiet protocols that keep the institution functioning when cameras are not rolling. In private, those who have worked with her describe a mind that cuts through complexity with remarkable speed. She asks the practical questions. She expects clear answers. She does not waste time on flattery. Those qualities, sources say, weighed heavily in the king's decision. The family dynamics surrounding the announcement have been equally fascinating. Prince William is understood to have been informed in advance and to have given his full support. The relationship between uncle and nephew has always been one of mutual respect, and William has long spoken of his aunt with genuine admiration. There is no suggestion of tension. If anything, the move is being interpreted as a protective measure for the next generation, ensuring that when William eventually inherits, he does so with the institution already stabilized and experienced hands still available if needed. Queen Camilla's position has also drawn quiet interest. As consort, she holds no constitutional authority of her own, yet she remains the king's closest personal confidant. Those familiar with the household say she was fully briefed and supportive. The decision appears to have been taken with the entire senior family aligned, at least on the surface. Further out in the family, reactions have been more varied. Some younger members are said to have been surprised by the speed of the development. Others express private relief that a figure of stature and work ethic is being placed so prominently. The Princess Royal has never been part of the celebrity wing of the family. Her elevation therefore reinforces a particular vision of monarchy, one centered on duty, continuity, and quiet competence rather than personality or popularity contests. Public reaction across the United Kingdom has been largely warm, though not without its undercurrents. In Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, as well as in England, many citizens have welcomed the recognition of a royal who has consistently put service first. Commentators on both the left and the right have found common ground in praising Anne's record. Even some long-standing critics of the monarchy have conceded that if anyone has earned this level of trust, it is the Princess Royal. Yet questions remain. Why now? Why make the designation public rather than keep it as a private contingency? Palace sources insist the timing reflects the king's desire for transparency and preparedness rather than any immediate health crisis. Charles has been open about his own medical journey in recent years. By acting while he retains full capacity, he ensures the arrangement is made calmly, legally, and with dignity. Still, the optics are powerful. A monarch in his mid-70s formally placing significant temporary authority in the hands of his sister sends a clear message. The institution is thinking ahead. It is not waiting for events to force its hand. Looking further forward, the implications could reshape the working pattern of the royal family for years. Anne's new status may lead to an even greater public profile, though those who know her doubt she will change her style. She is unlikely to seek the limelight. She will simply absorb the additional responsibility the way she has absorbed every other duty, methodically and without complaint. For Prince William, the development may actually create more space. When formally positioned to step in if required, the heir can continue his own program of modernization and engagement without the constant shadow of immediate contingency planning. Some observers believe this could allow William to focus more intently on the long-term vision he wishes to bring to the throne. Historians are already placing the moment in a longer arc. The monarchy has survived by adapting. From the regency of the early 19th century to the carefully managed transitions of the 20th, the institution has repeatedly found ways to bridge periods of uncertainty. Charles's decision fits that tradition, while adding a distinctly personal dimension. He has chosen blood, experience, and proven reliability over any other consideration. As the initial shock begins to settle, a quieter realization is taking hold. This was not merely a bureaucratic adjustment. It was a statement of values. In elevating Anne, the king has held up a mirror to the qualities he believes a monarchy still needs: resilience, discretion, an unbreakable work ethic, and an instinct for service that does not require applause. Princess Anne has never asked for recognition of this kind. She has never campaigned for greater status. She has simply done the work. Now the work has been formally acknowledged at the highest level. The coming weeks will bring more detail. Official guidance on the precise scope of the regent's powers is expected. There will be further analysis from constitutional scholars. There will be more reaction from across the Commonwealth realms, where the king's decision also carries weight. And there will, inevitably, be continued scrutiny of the king's own health and schedule. But the central fact remains unchanged and still astonishing. King Charles has surprised the nation by granting his sister the title and authority of Royal Regent. The palace walls that so often conceal have, for once, allowed a genuine revelation to emerge. Everyone, it seems, was left stunned. And perhaps that was partly the point. The monarchy has reminded the country that it can still move decisively, still place trust where it is most owned, and still catch the public imagination when it chooses to act. Princess Anne now stands ready. The king has made his choice. The nation is watching to see what happens next. If you found this report valuable, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who follows the royal family. The full picture of this historic development is still unfolding, and we will be here with every update as it breaks. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.